Hi there, my name is David Clubb and I'm the Managing Director for Office Angels, and welcome to the May edition of the Job Market Review. So what's been happening since last time? Well, we've just had the announcement from the Bank of England where Mervyn King has announced that inflation could be pushing to the 5% level. And this is with a backdrop from an increase in utility bills, fuel price increase, a weakening housing market, which is all putting upward pressures on inflation. But how does this relate to the job market? Is it going to be making it a harder market, or is it going to make it an easier market? Because a lot of people will be thinking that this is going to mean a downgrading of vacancies. However, that's not what we've been seeing. Interestingly enough, permanent placements are rising still at their fastest rate. So, the private sector recovery is still happening. But what happened in April? Well, there was a slowdown in vacancies, and this was due to the extended holiday period through the royal wedding and the way the bank holidays fell. So vacancies became in shorter supply because key decision makers were also on holiday. But we do believe that that will bounce back again in May, and early signs are that permanent placements are still very strong. However, the temporary market is easing, and I think that is due to the fact that as we came to the end of the financial year, the public sector budgets came under a lot more pressure, and the rate of decline in the public sector was not matched by the private sector increase. So the temporary market has eased. However, we're yet to see whether that will again bounce back through Q2. So what's been happening on the employment law landscape in the last couple of months? Well, it's been a very busy time as well in this area. We've had changes to the Equality Act, where we've got positive discrimination is allowed under certain protected groups. We've got changes to the paternity leave regulations, and we've also got the abolition of the retirement age through the ageing population. And we've also had the final guidance from the government on the AWR regulations, that's the agency workers regulations, which is an important piece of legislation for equal rights to temporary workers. So we've been holding seminars and we've been holding webinars, and these are going to be available online through our website to update our clients around what are these important changes, and also for our candidates as well, because that's most important for them to understand what are the legal rights going forward past October. So with permanent placements on the up, what are the sectors that we're seeing these increases coming from? Unsurprisingly, the export market is very buoyant, and from last time we saw the IT market also having a very good time of it, and that has continued this time. Also, salespeople are in high demand because, of course, the companies are seeing the opportunities. Even with a downgraded 2% increase in the forecast of GDP, there are opportunities to add, but also market share. Clients are going out to put out their competition. So, the question on everybody's lips is, what is happening to pay? Well, what we've noticed through our tool mysalarychecker.com is that pay overall is being kept down. That is good for the inflationary pressure. However, we are noticing some hotspots appearing which are linking to the sectors which are in demand. For example, in our own market at Office Angels, the secretarial PA market have seen a 4% increase in wage inflation. That's good for the PAs who are taking on more responsibility, but this also does mean that there's the upward pressure on inflation. IT and sales and also the export market have seen similar increases. However, overall, there is a ability by companies to hold down this pressure, which is going to be good for the economy, but on a worker's side it means that paid reviews will be coming under more and more scrutiny as the year goes on. So what's my advice for employers this month? Well, despite what we're hearing in the news, my advice is that the demand for staff is still improving, and which means there is going to be a shortage of skills out there in the marketplace. So make sure your hiring strategies are in place. Also, I mentioned social media last month, and we're seeing a further increase in activity around this way of recruiting. And finally, of course, the changes in employment legislation. Make sure everybody's up to speed with these changes and build those into not only your hiring decisions and your policies and procedures, but make sure it's on the table for your next meetings. This is David Clubb, Managing Director for Office Angels, with the May edition for the Job Market Review, and I'll see you next month for the next update.